So we should be ready to rock and roll right here on YouTube Live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast right here on YouTube Live. Of course, I'm Ray. Matt is back this week.
Oh, yes.
Tom Nutty is not here. He forgot that he had another baseball game, going on with his kids tonight.
What's going on with that? Like he's got an awful lot of fucking baseball
I think what it is I don't think his kids are playing baseball. I think what it is I think he joined like a geriatric league, and he knows that he can be the best player on the team because like I feel like he goes to like the senior center, and he's joined like the senior center like baseball team, and he just knows that he's going to be the Adley Rushman of the team, and he's just going to hit bombs all day long.
In your face, Grandma.
Fucking old guy slides in, and fucking old guy snaps his ankle as Tom Nutty tags him out. He's like, "You're out, bitch." And it's actually funny. We were talking about the cider, which we're going to advertise later. Our new beer of the week. Of course, last week I deemed as a dry week because I didn't have any beer, but we had the whiskey. So our new beer of the week, we were talking about before we went on, some of the conversation we had before we went on, you're like, what's it called when like, two groups of people come together or two races come together?
Yeah.
And I looked at you and I was like, interracial, and you're like, no, dumbass. Yeah. Diversity. It's a very diverse beer. Like, it's a very interracial beer.
I'm not talking about your Pornhub search. I'm talking about like diversity. That's what I meant. I couldn't think of the word right away, but Jesus, man. I know the interracial.
I got this. I got it. But no, like, and real quick, big shout out to everybody involved with the podcast. Of course, myself, Matt, Tom Nutty, our former host, Mike Blair, anybody who helps us with the show. Just this past week, I know it's not a huge hurdle. We just passed 150 unique views on YouTube. So not 150, 150,000 unique views on our YouTube. So thank you to everybody there. A lot of time and effort has been spent on the YouTube Live, more so than the audio version of the show because it's really taken off. From Erica Icon, who provides us a lot of our adult film star guests, Elaine Shapiro and Jimmy Starr, who provide us a lot of our guests, Star Factory PR, Brian Scott Gamble, everybody who sits there and provides us with guests. Thank you. We appreciate it. And even our comedian friends, Tommy Sinbazo, who will be joining us shortly as a special guest co-host, Eric Woodworth, Ashley Pontius, they always come in as special guest co-hosts. We're always appreciative of everybody. And of course, everybody watching right here on YouTube Live, thank you, or anybody who's watching this. You don't want to tape delay and skipping past all of this to get to the good stuff, with Nate Nasty and all that. And dude, let me tell you, our guests, like I remember right before you came in, I asked you, I was like, have you seen anything with our guests yet? And you were like, well, no. So I showed you some of his stuff. And let me tell you this now, like my shirt feels wet from slobber, from watching what was going on in those videos. Like you're talking about deep throat, a lot of ass eating, and being throat fucked with toes. And we've had people talk about having a foot go ankle deep in their ass. But I bear witness to a video where a chick was being throat fucked with toes. And I was just kind of like, well, I mean, if she's being throat fucked by toes, I don't feel so bad about myself anymore. Because if those are choking her, then oh man.
But, it makes you feel good about yourself, I guess.
Oh yeah. It gives you a little bit of a confidence boost.
Confidence boost.
I know this is not orange juice. This is our cider that we have this week, which I will be shouting out to.
Big old mug of orange juice.
And you may not be able to see it on it, but there's an Orioles logo etched onto this. My wife, her coworker, etched her a wine glass and me a beer mug. So I was like, fuck it, why don't I go ahead and use it? And I don't really particularly like drinking out of cans as it is. I'm not a big can guy, and plus I was able to get two beers in this compared to one. So but now
what I've noticed with cans now that like my beard is fully, it's really coming in now, man. If
it gets all over your beard.
Well, not that, is really the mustache that gets caught sometimes.
The mustache.
It's caught in the little fucking pringy thing. That shit fucking hurts, man. It really does.
It hurts. Like it hurts your feelings hurt, or
I mean,
just,
yeah, a little bit.
And
a little bit of both.
Yeah. And I mean, I meant to get onto this the other day, and, you know, a couple episodes ago, and I didn't. I was driving at work. I see a lot of like crazy shit at work sometimes. And I'm sitting there, and it was one of those days that we had recently where it's about like 100 degrees outside. And I'm sitting there and I'm driving through this neighborhood in my work truck. And I just happen to look over and I see this Asian lady gardening. Like she's just gardening her ass off. And then like I kind of look a little bit farther, and there's this old white woman just sitting there in a lawn chair with her hands on the thing, watching this lady do the work. And I'm like,
oh, no.
So is that like her Asian neighbor? And she's like having her do the gardening, and she's just sitting there watching, like, you better get in there deep, or else, you know, there's going to be consequences to pay. Like, and I'm just sitting there watching, like, man, it's like 1,000 degrees. At least give this woman a water. Like, what is this shit?
Put her in some shade, or
and like, mind you, so I go, I make my delivery. An hour later, I come back, and this Asian woman is covered in sweat, still gardening, while this old woman is still sitting there watching her garden. And I'm just kind of like, am I
her garden though? Like,
I don't know what was happening. I'm like, am I watching a crime happen right now? Like, I don't understand.
I'm pretty
like,
sure they outlawed slavery. So
yes. Like, I'm like, am I watching a crime happen right now? Like, you know, because this lady was working her ass off, and this old Ethel looking white woman was just sitting there, just watching her do. And I thought for a second, I was like, well, maybe the old white lady's dead, because like she was in the same exact position as she was when I drove by an hour before. And I'm like, maybe she died in that chair, and this Asian lady just did her garden. So she was like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep gardening. Like, I'm just going to do it one last. It's like that thing. You ever see the thing where like certain like viewings and shit for like funerals, they like prop people up and like awkward, like a kid will die and they'll prop him up in a chair, and he'll be like with his video game controller on and his Nikes and all that. You ever see any of that? Like, yeah, like no. There's like viewings that you can do where like they prop the body up in like compromising positions. And like there was one I saw, and like the dude was wearing sunglasses and he had like his PlayStation controller in his hand and all that, and that was his fucking viewing. And I was like, I wonder if that's what it is. I wonder if this lady's gardening because this lady likes sitting out there looking at her flowers, and the rest of her family is going to show up in about 30 minutes.
So wait a second. If people are actually propping their dead up,
let me see if I can find it. Let's see.
That seems a bit strange to me.
Propped up on stage at funeral. Dead man propped up at his funeral. So here, let's see. Here's one: a dead rapper's body propped up in club for disrespectful viewing. There's one: a guy on a motorcycle. Dead man riding motorcycle at his funeral. Dead drummer popped up behind drum set at his funeral as family celebrates his life and love. Dead drum, like you can see him. That's a dead man propped up behind his drum set, and that is a dead man on a motorcycle. Like,
how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah, hold on. Like here. Oh, that's another one right there. This one, like these are dead people. These are all dead people right here. So real quick, what I'm gonna do is, of course, hold on. Let me pull it up on here, and then that way everybody at home can see what's going on. You know,
it seems a bit strange.
It's extremely strange. Like, it's like, what?
Well, you know what we used to do back in the day, right? Those parlors or whatever,
like funeral parlors.
They used to have funerals, like, well, they still kind of, guess I call it a funeral parlor.
Yeah,
but they used to have them in your house.
Real quick, here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit share screen on this. So these right here, like for example, this dude is posing with that dude right there. Like, these are all like that dude's fucking right. Like they built a ring. Like he was a boxer.
Did they do
like
this?
Look, and that guy, look, that's how they transported him. Was in the back of the truck, and they had him fucking sitting there. This guy's playing cards and shit. Like, this is insane. You've never heard of this before. There's the dude playing the drums right there. Like this is completely like right there. Like, you could pose that. Looks like something like in Madame Tussauds. Like, and now I'm starting to question Madame Tussauds. Is it really wax figures, or is it just dead celebrity lookalikes? Like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, Hugh
Jesus.
Hefner is no longer Hugh Hefner in fucking Hugh Hefner is actually Hugh Hefner in Madame Tussauds.
That seems a bit strange, man. Like,
dude, it's beyond strange. Like, that's so I wonder if that's what it was. I wonder if that old white lady wasn't committing a hate crime, but she was actually dead because she was wearing sunglasses. So I wonder if she was just dead, and that nice Asian lady was just doing her garden and preparing her viewing out in front of her house for when the rest of her family arrived. Like,
well, she was picking the flowers for her grave.
Yeah, she might have well been. And
that seems a bit strange. How do you like? I guess you embalm them, and then because that's what makes their body stiff, right?
So I guess they embalm them in that way.
They just configure them in like a certain position, and then that's
what we should
weird.
do is we should do a fully fermented at a funeral parlor that does that, and we will see how they actually do it. Like,
I don't think they would let us in there. Right? I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, it just, hey, would you mind if we record, these processes or whatever?
I think there's like a statute of limitations there or something. I don't even know if that's the right fucking thing to say, but because that's somebody's like person. Like,
it's somebody's person.
Like what if it's not
somebody's person though? Like,
I guess they'd let us film the dead bum or whatever, some shit, that nobody cared about.
Yeah,
but
and real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to a couple of our ads that we've had. Of course, we're going to advertise Vagabond Sandwich Company, which you'll be able to find them effective July 1st for a fully fermented episode. We went to the Vagabond Sandwich Company,
really good,
and talked to Ben over there, and they had great food. So real quick, let's show you a couple. You
gotta get the Baja chicken.
Yeah. Oh, get the Baja chicken or the three pigs. The three pigs. Definitely, if you're in the area, pop out Bel Air, check out Vagabond Sandwich Company. And real quick, let's go ahead and rock and roll. And
hey, this is Charlie Ford, and welcome to the Happy Hour podcast.
In a world full of hunger and thirst, one restaurant will attempt to satisfy these cravings forever. Meet our hero, the Cheeseburger, and his salty partner, Crab Dip Tater Tots. Together, with local craft beer, they take the fight to hunger. With a special appearance by Cupcake Milkshake, they... Vagabond Sandwich Company. Better making food than making commercials.
And there you go. So shout out to Vagabond Sandwich Company. And that's the thing I want to start doing. Bubba Almany, he also has a video commercial he's going to send. We're going to start running those during some of our episodes for some of our friends. Of course, you saw beforehand, Charlie Ford. Make sure you find her episode right here on YouTube Live, giving a shout out for the show. We're going to run those as well. Just, a little bit of playing around and doing, a little bit of something different, as we go along. And one thing I was thinking about this last week, and I'm shocked I haven't talked about it on the show. I don't think I have, at least, is a couple of months ago, I was helping my wife's uncle clear out his mother-in-law's place. Like, she had passed. So, we're sitting there trying to get it cleared out for it to be sold. And he had her bed that he had to get rid of. And we were like, well, fuck, what are we supposed to do with it? Because it's hard, you can't sell a bed. People don't want to buy a bed that somebody previously slept in. So I thought of this.
It depends.
I thought of this story of way back in the day when my dad actually sat there and he bought me and Jess, like, we were talking about how we wanted a bed, and if he heard us say we wanted something, he would buy it. So he buys us a bed without telling us, hey, I'm buying you a bed. But the thing was, is it was a queen size bed. He didn't buy a split mattress, and the box spring couldn't make it up the stairwell. So what my dad did is he pulled out his tools. He sawed the box spring completely in half, folded it in half, drug it up the steps, took it back in the bedroom, and took a series of staples from a staple gun and rope and MacGyvered that motherfucker back together. And me and Jess came home one night, and we went into the room, and the bed was there. And we were like, what? And I'm starting to look at the bed, and I'm looking at the stairwell, and I'm looking at the bed, I'm looking at the stairwell. And I was like, can I ask you a serious question? I was like, how did you get that up here? And, my dad, was a drunken madman when he would drink. And he looked me dead in the eyes and he was like, how about you not fucking worry about it? And I'm like, well, I am worried about it because there's no way that came up the steps. So Jess is just kind of looking at me mortified. And I'm like, okay, so here's how it's going to work. We flipped the box spring over and we saw all this contraption that's going on underneath the bed. And Jess was like, I appreciate it, but I don't want this. And he starts losing his mind. He's like, well, fine. Fuck you then. I'll use the goddamn bed my fucking self. And of course, in our house, like we remembered that. So we bought a split box spring. So what we did is Jess's uncle was like, how can we get rid of this bed? He's like, I want to throw it in a dumpster. So I sit there and I look at him like, well, I have this brilliant idea. Why don't we just saw this mattress and box spring in half and throw it in a dumpster? And he was like, well, I told him the story. He's like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. So he had a circular saw. So we started with the box spring, which was a little bit easier. Like the springs were a little bit hard to get through, but that was a little bit easier. We sawed that into 4 pieces. And then we took the mattress and we're going across like all those springs, sparks are fucking flying everywhere, fucking bedding just flying fucking everywhere. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, with all this. And so what it is, it was like, hey, eventually we get it sawed down and we get it sawed into 4 pieces and we throw it in a dumpster over at his mother-in-law's place. So that makes me ask, like, what have you ever yourself sawed anything in half like that? Like, have you ever like sawed furniture in half?
No, because I'm a perfectly sane human being. You're not
a complete madman.
Yes,
like
in some cases, yes, I can where one area I may be a little crazy, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't chop furniture.
You're like, I don't. Yeah, I'm not. That's above me. I will throw a pool off of a balcony, but God forbid.
I'll just fucking set it aflame. That's easier.
I'll just set it on fire. We're just going to create fire with this. Like, that's what's going to happen. Right. We're just going to create fire right now.
You ever seen a mattress burn? I mean,
I have not seen a mattress burn. Have you ever? Yes. Have you ever seen glorious. A mattress get sawed in half and thrown in a dumpster? Like, just imagine that. Like, we're just like I'm sitting there and I'm holding the mattress like this, and the circular saw is coming up. So the saw is facing me. At any point, this blade could slip, anything like that. Fucking sparks are just fucking flying everywhere, fucking bedding everywhere. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, one of us is going to die today. And I'm afraid it may be me, but it worked. So if you guys ever need to get rid of a bed, believe me when I tell you, you can saw that motherfucker completely in half, like 100%.
Maybe
saw that bitch in half.
Maybe you should just start your own side business with fucking
sawing stuff in half. Yeah.
But people will pay you to like just
yeah,
sold their shit in half, and they'll just watch you and get out and get like off on. Oh, that's so awesome.
And I apologize if the video looked a little weird a second ago. Our GoPro was acting weird. You probably could have saw some of the lines going across on it. So what I did is I switched to the webcam on the computer, took it off, readjusted it, and put it back on because we get much better quality. Right. You see our beautiful faces. Yes. In HD, it's from the GoPro.
Yes, so, not yours stuff. It's our stuff.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's me.
It's like it's our radiating sexiness that's hitting this camera, and it's just forcing it. You know what it might have been? It might have been it couldn't handle the Vagabond Sandwich Company commercial. Like the camera was it felt so full. Yeah. After seeing that commercial. Well, that it just couldn't self-sustain.
I mean, all the anymore. Food there is like sex in your mouth, so that's probably what happened.
Dude, I feel so fucking bad that we could not try to goddamn fucking what was it?
The milkshakes?
The milkshakes, yes, because the milkshakes are one of the main things on their commercials and all that. And I mean, dude, it's good shit.
Well, maybe we'll have to make a special trip. Like right now.
Speaking of which, like with furniture, like aside from sawing in half, have you ever had anything in your house, anywhere you've ever lived, and you looked at it, and you were like, I am never fucking moving that. This will stay. Like, for example, a safe. Like, I would never move a safe. If there was a safe in my fucking house, that bitch would fucking stay there. Like, I had a fold out couch in my upstairs bedroom where I just could not I was like, yeah, no fucking way. This isn't happening. Like, I am not moving this fucker out of here. And actually, Tommy Sinbazo is going to be joining us momentarily. He should be in the room. And we're actually going to ask Tommy if he's ever sold any furniture in half, because Tommy can make all kinds of shit. He just got a 3D printer. So he's making all kinds of shit out of a 3D printer. Hey, there he is. Oh my God, he has hair.
I'm a wild man now.
What's up, man? How are you?
Bud? Good, buddy. How you doing?
And so we were talking a little bit, and I was telling Matt this story about how myself and my wife's uncle sawed a bed in half. And so her grandmother died, and we were trying to clear out the place. And I thought of this idea of my father, that when he would drink, he would become a madman. And so me and Jess were like, oh, we would love to get a new bed. You know, when we first got together, we were still living with him. So he went out and he bought us a bed, queen size bed. And the queen size bed, the box spring, would not fit up the stairwell. So we sat there and we got home, and he's like, oh, look at this. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the bed, I'm looking at the stairwell, I'm looking at the bed, I'm looking at the stairwell. I'm like, how'd you get this up here? And he's like, don't you fucking worry about it. And then opened up another beer and went downstairs. So I look at Jess, I'm like, this ain't good. So I sit there, we're sitting there, and like, we're sitting on the bed, and she hears something make like a pop noise. We're like, what the fuck is that? So we pull the blankets and shit off, and we just happened to flip the box spring. And you could see that the entire box spring was sawed completely in half on the bottom. And he had folded it and drug it up the steps. And he used a staple gun and rope to MacGyver this fucker back together. And Jess was like, thank you, but I don't want this. And he's like, well, fuck you guys. I'll fucking take it myself. So he fucking...
And he folded it up until he could fit it in his pocket.
And no bullshit, all the way up to the point to where he passed away in 2016. He still had that fucking box spring. And it still held up. And I told Jess's uncle about that, because he had his mother-in-law's bed, and he didn't know what to fucking do with it. He's like, man, it's hard to sell a bed. You know, nobody wants this. What can I do with it? And I was like, well, we can just saw it in half. He's like, what? I told him the story. So he takes a circular saw, box spring easy, mattress. Oh, dude, I'm sitting there holding the mattress like this. And he has a circular saw. And it's kind of like, you ever see the new Friday the 13th movie where he's holding the dude's face like near the like spike thing that's like going up and down? It was like that. Like, I'm holding it, and like the circular blade is like right here. And it's nothing but sparks and bed fucking confetti everywhere. And we cut it into 4 pieces, took it over, and threw it in our dumpster. So,
could you imagine if that fucking did hit you in the face? Imagine explaining that to the coroner, the cops, or like,
this is a bed. This is from a bed that got sawed.
I have no idea what the neighbors thought in that condo development, like what was going on downstairs, because the noises that were coming off those springs,
somebody screaming.
Yeah. Well, we were also afraid that the carpet or the bed itself, the mattress itself, would catch fire because of all the sparks that were. It was like a fucking welder in that bedroom. There was smoke everywhere. The smoke alarms were going off, and we're like,
"You're cutting."
Yeah. An emergency crew of some kind is going to show up within the next 5 minutes.
Hey, we should probably just chill. No, we're almost through.
Yeah,
Did you feel bad when no emergency personnel came? Like, no one gave a fuck about you?
Right.
Well, his wife was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to go get pizza. So she's like, yeah, I'm not going to watch my husband or our nephew cut their hands off trying to saw a bed in half. It's not going to happen. So, and of course, I asked Matt, and I knew what the answer was going to be. Tommy, have you ever like had to do anything like that?
Not to like, if I like, I've never done it because I thought I would be keeping it later. Like, it's always been, we're going to have to cut this apart to throw it away.
Yeah.
That's what I basically said. Yeah.
Now, when we moved out of Joppa, I remember we had a couch that we were getting rid of, and we just threw it off the balcony. We lived on the 3rd floor and just threw it off the balcony into the common area.
Yeah, I'm more into that shit.
Well, my dad, like I told Matt, God rest his soul, I love him to death, but he paranoid schizophrenic, and he was paranoid schizophrenic and PTSD from Vietnam, and he would drink, so he would turn into a madman when he would get drunk. The same place we were living there, and he, like, mind you, we're renting a townhouse. It's a townhouse development. And so he used to get mad because the sidewalk was always broken. So he would complain. And I think eventually the leasing office just locked him out until it was time to pay, because they got tired of hearing him complain about that. So my dad was like, he didn't work. He got so much money from the government for being a disabled veteran. He paid a concrete truck to come to that townhouse and re-concrete the slab out back without asking the leasing company. And they were just kind of like, yeah, dude, thanks. But
you can't do this.
You can't do that. And then at that point, me and Jess were kind of like, man, we're glad that we've already got approved for our own apartment, because this isn't going to end well. And they were just kind of like, yeah, you guys got to go. So yeah, that's so.
Well, what's the problem? You're helping out. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
So you said you threw some stuff off the balcony. Like, have you ever had anything where you looked at it, and safes are very infamous for this, where you look at it and you're like, I'm not fucking moving that. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
we moved out of the house that like I said, I live with my mom till I was like 27, and the house we were in, I was going to get an apartment. My mom was just going to move into a smaller house, and there was a pool table that came with the house. And pool tables stay. Like, if someone buys a pool table, that house just has a pool table forever until that house falls off. So so that's it. Just
Tommy, you could have sawed it in half, sawed it in four pieces, taken it. Was it a slate table? There was one of those. I used to work at AMF way back in the day, and I helped close down the Dundalk Center, which had the billiards place in it. And they were like, oh yeah, feel free if you want one of the pool tables. And I felt so proud. I was like, oh man, I'm going to have a pool table. I realized it was a slate table and 5 people couldn't pick it up. And I was like, yeah, no, fuck it. It'll stay here and deteriorate. And that building to this day is still deteriorating behind East Point Mall, probably with those slate pool tables.
Probably
still inside of there.
And it wasn't a great pool table. It all leaned to one pocket and everything. So, I mean, no, we never tried to fix it.
It was the poor man's pool table. But you know what? It got you through. That's the thing. You sit there, you get drunk, and you're like, all right. Well,
we would always have parties, and people would end up playing pool. I would just be like 8 ball in that pocket that all the balls are pulling to.
And of course, Tommy recently, of course, shout out 98 Rock. Tommy was on the 98 Rock morning show, which I had a long drive that day at work, and I listened to it, and it was glorious. And I kept on texting random things. I think one of the things was Tommy Sinbazo often likes to have greased up wombats inside of himself, like just various things.
They never showed me those texts.
And no, congratulations, man. And of course, your Hulu special. Is that slated to come out? Like, I
don't know. Look, man, I haven't heard anything about it since maybe December of last year. Yeah. So it might have just been that 2021 was the year I lied about having a Hulu special.
Yes, I heard someone say it recently. I'm not sure if
Justin keeps bringing it up on the air, and I'm like, dude, stop fucking saying it might not happen. Let's wait till it happens.
I don't know what's going on right now.
But then again, no one's called bullshit on me, so I might just keep doing it. I might start adding. I was like, I got a Crackle special coming out.
Tubi. You can see me exclusively on Tubi.
I have a series on Tubi you guys can check out.
And of course, what's going on with Laugh-Finder? Anything special coming up with Laugh-Finder?
Nothing really. I mean, we've been playing now. It's getting we're about to wrap season 6, and then but season 8, by the time we get to season 8, I want to do a VR season where, because pretty soon there's like in the next year, there's going to be apps that you can play Dungeons and Dragons from within your headset, where you make your avatar look like your character. You interact with the DM, who can change his look based on the fly. And then when you get into combat, it brings up a board that you can move your pieces on the board, or you can just take over your piece on the board and play as in first person view doing combat and stuff. So I joined a couple Kickstarters for that, but nothing's come out for it yet. So Dorian's been teasing the idea of maybe doing like a pirate adventure for our next season and stuff. So
cool. That'd be real cool. And that way Tommy Sinbazo can just absolutely slay people in VR.
Yeah. But I mean, right now I just got my 3D printer on Friday.
I saw that. That's awesome, dude. Like,
and here, let me see if I can show you. It's a big, I got it because I want to be able to make Mandalorian armor. And so I needed a big one. So that's big enough that I can do a helmet on it and then start. So today I actually looked through while I was at work. Don't tell my work, but I just went through and I looked at all the files that people have made for different types of Mandalorian armor, because like when you do Mandalorian armor, you can still do your own take on it. You can totally customize this helmet, this shoulder, whatever, because Mandalorians don't have a set on. That's like, there's a group called the 501st, and it's guys that dress as stormtroopers, and they'll get together in mass and they will go and do they'll do children's hospitals, they'll do all these benefit shows and stuff. There was actually in the first season of The Mandalorian, they didn't have enough stormtroopers, so they called the 501st chapter in the area, and they got all their guys to come with their own stormtrooper armor to be stormtroopers. And to that effect, there's another group called the Mandalorian Mercs, where if you have a full suit of Mandalorian armor, you can kind of join this group. They'll be like, hey, we're walking in this parade, we're all going to go to this children's hospital, we're going to this convention. And I've always wanted to be one of the Mandalorian Mercs. So now I'm getting closer to building my Mandalorian armor. And I found a helmet today. It's a mix of the Mandalorian helmet and a Silverhawks helmet. So it has like this, it comes down to like this beak, and then the back kind of has this flare. It's slit moistening, if you will.
And I think I told you on Facebook Messenger, like I moved my office at work.
Yeah.
And for like the entire time I was there, and literally they've had it for years. It was one of the first 3D printers ever created. And this bitch was bigger than my fucking fridge in my house. It was giant. And they couldn't find anybody that was going to buy it. And I think they were giving it away dirt cheap because they wanted to make something off of it.
Yeah.
And literally after you bought that, like we had taken it to the dump, and literally I fucking Sparta 300 kicked that bitch back of the truck and watch it explode into massive pieces. And apparently it had like some sort of like weird liquid or something that like and they're like, be careful with it. I'm like, it's going to the fucking dump. And it's not like they're going to trace it back to us. Like, it doesn't have any of our shit. So like, but no, like that thing was fucking huge. And people were like, man, you could probably make a fucking like TV in that fucking thing. Like, it's huge. And I mean,
when I got it, my fiance was like, the first thing she asked was like, can you make sex toys with it? And I'm like, it's not.
You can make dildos with that fucking thing. Like,
well, mine, it sounds like you're talking about a resin printer, and yeah, resin gets nice and smooth. The kinds where you're using like plastic filament, it would be like, I told her, it'd be like running 200 grit sandpaper in and out here. It's not going to remove a lot of meat, but it will be shiny.
That might be kinky for some. They're like, you know what? Better yet, let's just take the sander to it. Just better yet, just pull out the circular saw. Let's just saw it in half.
Yeah, I want to just get rid of all the nerve endings down there. That's all.
And Nate Nasty hasn't joined us quite yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into one of our news article reads, which is, all right. So the first one is, let's see. Woman says, I fell in love with my son and we have mind-blowing sex, but it's not incest.
Okay, hold on real quick. How did you find this article, Ray?
I just general internet search.
Okay.
A Michigan
it's in
mom,
this Facebook group I'm part of.
Yes.
It's
Reddit.
the motherfuckers group.
I found it in Reddit. A Michigan mom who fell in love with her biological son says a rare genetic phenomenon is responsible for their red hot romance. Kim West, 57, got pregnant as a teenager and gave up her baby. This is a porn. This is totally a porn. Gave up her baby boy, Ben Ford, for adoption in the mid 1980s. I've seen this exact scene on a porn site. Ford, who is now 38, tracked down his mother 8 years ago, and the pair formed a close bond. Things quickly turned sexual, and they went public with their incestuous relationship in 2016. West boasting she had mind-blowing sex with her son. I'm telling you, I've seen this.
What's this genetic thing? What?
Yeah, she didn't say like it's like, oh, well, there's this thing in my genetics, anytime I give up a kid that I don't want, I just get this urge to just have sex with them.
I'm trying to put him back in me.
It's calling it's the phenomenon is known as a genetic sexual attraction.
Where'd you see that?
Right here. That's fucking weird.
It's not incest, it's GSA. It's called GSA. We are like peas in a pod and are meant to be together. And it says, speaking about a phenomenon known as genetic sexual attraction. And it says the phenomenon was first identified in 1980 by Barbara Gino, a woman who ran a Chicago-based support group for adoptees and their newfound relatives. Wait a minute. This is like a huge thing. So she runs a support group for adoptees that find their parents and I guess fuck them.
That is why I asked where the fuck you got this article.
I saw the title and I was like, I need to find out what this is all about. It says she coined the term GSA after noting that numerous people associated with the group became sexually attracted to their family members when they first met. This is another scene to another porn.
Right. I like how she's like GSA or get some ass syndrome.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a here's a picture of them. Hold on, they show a picture of them. So here, let me go ahead and do this.
Now, from the kid's point of view, I could get it because you spend your whole life thinking, why doesn't this person want me?
He looks so happy. Like, I mean, look at that. Like, she's just like, yeah. And I mean, he's just kind of like, yeah, this is my mom. Like,
what?
But, oh, man. It says at a genetic level, we are conditioned to find people who look like us attractive. I've never looked in the mirror and went, I'd fuck me. I've never.
No, wait.
Like, I'm lucky that my wife looks at me and goes, I'll fuck him. Like, much less me looking in the mirror and going, I'd fuck myself. I'm always fucking myself. It's normally when I take a shower. Like,
I wonder if when that kid tells people and he's like, I fuck my mother, and like, ew, or like, no, it's not what I'm adopted by the people she gave me up to, but then now I'm still fucking her.
Yeah, mom, you're fucked, literally and figuratively.
I worked with a guy named Ted Mister, and Ted Mister, and Ted looked like Gargamel with a full head of hair. Like the guy. He was missing a couple fingers. Like these two fingers Ted was missing. And it looked like the fingernails were real pissed about it on the rest of his hand. Like he was one of those people that like you would see walking down the side of like a Pulaski highway at like 3:30 in the morning. Yes. And you're like, oh, that okay. And he got in touch with one of his daughters, his estranged daughter, who lived in North Carolina, and went to go visit her for a week. And when he came back, he was saying, he was like, hey, check this out.
Smurfette. Come here, Smurfette.
He would show me, he was like, oh, check this out. And it was topless pictures that his daughter had sent him and stuff. Yeah. And it was, fuck. Oh, God. He said he just went there and they would smoke synthetic weed all the time.
Oh my God. That's probably the dude. Has Billy ever taken you in VR on what's it called? The VR world that we go into. Tommy hosts his comedy shows and that. Alt Space. The Smurf world. Have you ever been there? That guy totally created the Smurf world.
Yeah, he didn't take me there.
Yeah. Like because you see big giant Gargamel and he's like crouched down like this and he's like ass in the air. And I'm just kind of like, okay, so this is gonna be weird. And this might be an episode. I don't know where our guest is. I haven't heard anything from him, but if not, we'll roll with the punches. Tommy, I was telling Matt earlier, have you seen any of Nate Nasty's stuff? Did you happen to look up any of that?
No, I don't follow male porn stuff.
Oh my God, dude. When his Twitter, he posted videos and he's throat fucking these chicks. There's a lot of throat fucking, ass eating, and then I seen someone being throat fucked with toes. And I was like,
wait, he had his toes in her mouth?
Yes. Yeah. He was throat fucking her with his toes.
No,
and he had reached out to us to be on the show. And that was the video he had set as his pinned video. And that was the first thing I saw. And I was like, yes, you can be on the show.
Okay. Yeah.
Come right on to the show. You are our demographic. Like,
let me look at this. Let me pull this up right now.
He's like, I gotta find it now.
Let me jerk off real quick, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Tommy, and Tommy, before we went live and before you came out, I was telling Matt, have you ever heard of the shit where people die and they propped the body up in like a weird. Matt had never heard of that, so I was showing him photos. His mind was blown, like a dude on a motorcycle and shit. Because I was saying I was driving,
like sitting at a table with like sunglasses on. They got a cigarette hanging out of their mouth.
Well, I told him I was driving at work and I saw this old white lady, like she was in her 80s, watching this poor Asian lady sweating her ass off doing gardening. And I was like, what's happening here? Like, am I witnessing a hate crime? Am I witnessing a crime right now? Like, what is this? And I told Matt, I was like, maybe it was the kind of thing, because I drove back past an hour later and the lady hadn't moved and she was still watching this lady garden. And I was like, maybe she was dead and she was propped in the chair and that lady was doing her garden before her family shows up to pay tribute to her, while she's looking at her garden. So
no, this isn't. I must not have the right Nate Nasty.
Nade.
This guy has a fan. What?
Nade. Nade.
Oh, Nade.
Yeah, Nade.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Nate Nasty.
Yeah. Like
today, I was trying to find.
I mean, it's not as disturbing as walrus penis anal, but today at work, I have my work computer because I set it up so I can read and interact with my text messages on my computer at work. And so I'm at work and I wanted to send Joe Robinson a picture on the Robin Joe show. They did these, they called it Gay Joe Summer, right? Where if Joe became gay, right. Yeah. And then so his wife, Katie, would have to date within our own group of friends. Okay.
And all of our significant others became gay. So we're all single and there's no strings attached. What order who was Katie most likely to date and whatever, right? And each of them gave their own. I was 7th place. I was last place in each one of these things, right? And that's even behind a random stranger, like some person that's not in our friend group. I was behind them. But so when Joe got back from vacation, they were like, okay, Joe, let's say you went gay. Now, who are you fucking in our friends group? And I was still last place behind. And I was like, I said, you have me behind some rando. And he was like, there's no way in the world I'm letting you get your hog anywhere near. And then, so I looked up, have you seen that one guy? It's this very large black guy sitting on the edge of the bed, and he's just got a baseball bat for a dick. Have you seen that meme?
I don't think so. No.
Well, it's a very famous meme during COVID. And I tried to find, I typed in large penis black man.
I'm sure you came up with a lot
on my work computer, and everyone was a picture of that guy, but it was pixelated. And I was like, God, okay, large penis black man nude. And then I did images and I was like, oh God, what have I done?
You accidentally set it as your background at work and it gets stuck like that. And you're just like, wait, and somebody comes up and it's just his hog. You're just panicking, trying to get it off. And while you're doing it, it just keeps on getting worse.
It just keeps zooming in. Speaking of which, we did this high-end hotel show yesterday that Eric and I were on. And what this guy Brock does, he books these shows at these high-end apartment buildings. We're like, you're paying $3,000 a month to live there, but you have a gym, you have a like a common area that has like a fully stocked fridge all the time and stuff. And they had these community computers. And Eric changed the background picture on all these computers to a plane flying into the World Trade Center from 9/11.
Eric don't give no fucks, man.
Eric's the one when we had Johnny Goodluck. Of course, shout out to Johnny Goodluck. Our HHPod Rumble title is in completion. It has been completed. It needs to be shipped out. That will be shipped out to Johnny Goodluck probably within the next day or two. When that episode, I remember we were talking about porn parodies and Eric brought up gay 9/11. And he's like, what if they did a gay 9/11 porn parody? And he's like, next thing you know, they just bust into the cockpit with, box cutters, and then a bunch of dick sucking just starts happening.
You better let us suck your dicks.
Yes. And, oh, man, dude. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to get into another one, which this is all over the place. I've heard about this on 98 Rock, and there's so many TikToks. My wife has sent me about this, and I wanted to talk about this on the show. And that is have you heard about this, Matt? The elephant in India that made headlines for not only killing a woman, but also crashing her funeral to trample her corpse as well.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
No.
Okay, so
And he went and got his whole pack of elephant buddies, and they came in and fucked up the whole town.
Yeah,
Are you
like
serious?
yeah, like apparently,
That's
like
insane.
towards the beginning of the month, like there's a rumor, no one knows for sure, is that apparently this lady did something to this elephant. A lot of people are saying that they believe that she may have helped poachers kill her babies. And elephants don't forget shit. So this elephant like rolled into her town and trampled her to death and like fucking like stomped her ass to death. And like, so they have a funeral for her. And then the elephant fucking comes back and tramples her again, dead.
Yeah,
like,
in the casket.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like
die, bitch, die.
Yeah, he whooped her ass in the afterlife. And then he went and got his friends and he destroyed their village afterwards. So they had nothing left. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this is here's
like an
thing.
episode of the fucking, what is that?
Yeah.
Zootopia or something.
Zootopia.
Not Zootopia. What the fuck
Yeah.
is that? There's a TV series that all the like zoo animals come out and they fucking just take back the earth.
Here's the thing. It said
God damn.
It said on June 10th, here's the actual story. On June 10th, onlookers were horrified to see the same elephant that attacked and killed a 70-year-old woman, which grabbed her dead body from the pry, which in over there in India, they like lay them on like on the pry. And it says before trampling on it, the giant threw her body once more before leaving the site of the funeral. The lady had been fetching water in Oshida, I don't even know what those words are. I'm not going to try to say them. In India, when she was attacked, the elephant had reportedly wandered off from its home in the Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary before encountering the elderly woman. So I guess maybe that elephant wanted some of that water. And he's like, this bitch is scooping too much water. It's time to grab her by her leg. And just, I don't know if you guys ever played WrestleMania, the arcade game, but Razor Ramon used to do the rug slam in that, where he would grab guys by their legs and he would just slam them down like that.
I remember doing
and
that. I love that.
I kind of feel like almost like this is kind of like the beginnings of an M. Night Shyamalan movie, kind of like a horror version of Operation Dumbo Drop. Like they dropped this like angry elephant. Like this elephant's like Dumbo, but instead of like flying around like the regular Dumbo, it like flies around and picks people up and just throws people through like their villages and shit. Like just this completely wild out fucking coked up elephant just going fucking nuts. And oh man, I remember hearing about that. It was crazy because
insane.
Like,
and then for them to come back with this fucking
this
entourage and destroy the village.
Yeah,
that's some hate shit.
That was like gang war. It's like, what did this lady like? I'm not sure if this lady subjected this elephant to some nasty porn or something like that. Yeah. Like something upset this elephant. And I wonder if like it was the kind of thing when he came back to her funeral, if like he wore like a suit with like a little elephant tie and he just kind of sat in the background and then
he had a veil, like he was mourning,
like a little veil on,
and there's like
and they're like, oh, he feels a little bit of remorse. He's sorry. And then the elephant just gets up and just runs up and just fucking
the elephant's over there signing the guest book. Like,
signing it with his
taking the mints.
Does anybody notice me? He puts a little horn on his trunk so people think that he's just a rhino, but it's really an elephant trunk. And it's like, come on. But I mean, what do you like at that point? Like, what do you do? Like you see this bit, and elephants are very docile. Like Jess loves elephants. She has a tattoo of an elephant with like flowers, like and all that shit on her arm. And like, what do you do when you just see an elephant run up on grandma, and like she's dead, and just start trampling grandma? Like,
well, I mean, what can you do? It's not like you could stop them.
Like you just have like 10 people just trying to gang up on this elephant, and this elephant's just flinging motherfuckers just back and forth. Like, God damn.
And then he gets all his fucking elephant friends, and then there's fucking a turf war.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Jesus, maybe that's how the world gets taken over by a bunch of fucking elephants.
Planet of the Elephants. Yeah,
we always thought it was going to be Planet of the Apes, but this Planet of the Elephants.
Well, I mean, look at it like this. Like, it's crazy because like they're making the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. You sent me that trailer.
Yeah.
And like now they can make a Dumbo horror movie like based around this. And it's like, you know,
This
they
is
take
real
the
life,
elephant,
man. Like,
they make
this
it
real
perform
shit.
in the circus, and it just gets resentful and it just starts fucking people
Maybe
up at
that's what happened.
circuses. Like, yeah.
Maybe that's what happened. He was part
yeah.
of the sanctuary.
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
he
They were
just
making
had
him perform
unresolved.
tricks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unresolved.
Or it might have been just seeing a bunch of poachers and then was like, you know what? Fuck all these motherfuckers. And then when he sees, she was just like, dude, just getting some water. Oh, hello, Mr. Elephant.
Or maybe that lady was the elephant's mom, and he had some sort of genetic
Yeah.
reaction to him, to her, and decided to.
What if
Well,
she
there.
called him the elephant N-word, whatever that word is, an elephant? She was like, oh, hello, Mr. Elephant. And he was like, the fuck did you just say?
Like, Tommy, have you ever gone to a zoo and you just seen an animal there and you were just completely mesmerized by the animal? Like you're just sitting there looking at it. You're like,
It's an animal. I'm like, hey, what's up? No, I did. As a kid, I never really understood why they just had a peacock running around the Baltimore zoo. There's just this peacock that'll go around there.
have you ever heard those fuckers scream?
Yeah, that.
Oh my God, dude. I went to deliver at somebody's house and they were rich and they had fucking peacocks and these things were screaming. They had like 5 of them and they were just fucking screaming the entire fucking time. And I'm death clenching my screwdriver. Like I'm just going to fucking screwdriver this fucking peacock to death.
We know what a female peacock's called. A pea pussy. No, no, it's a peahen. It's called a peahen.
Yeah, they have different names. I always forget that. They always just call them peacocks. And I forgot that they actually have the two separate names.
Is it really a pea puss?
No, it's a hen.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a peahen. So you have a peacock.
Damn.
It's a peagina.
Yeah. The peacock and the peahead. So
It's
or the head.
the
or
pea ussy.
Yeah, that one's just the tip. It's just the tip peacock.
Now, when I take my kids to the fucking zoo later, I'm like, look, that is a pea puss. There, I'm trying to educate you.
Yes, Tommy Sinbazo said this is a pea puss.
Yes, and he is a
Come here, little pea puss.
And what we're gonna do real quick, we're gonna get into our new featured beer. It's actually Fuji unfiltered cider called Original Sin.
Oh, that looks good.
Right here in the can, and it's made from Fuji apples in the 1930s, Fujisaki, Japan. And it says this iconic apple has both a Japanese heritage and a U.S. genetic pedigree. The Fuji apple was developed by growers at the Tohoku Research Station in Japan, and is a cross of 2 American apple varieties, Red Delicious and Virginia Rawls Janet. I've never even heard of a Virginia Rawls Janet apple. Introduced in the United States in the 1960s, this variety has become one of the most popular apples in our country. The Fuji is sweet with a dense flesh and excellent storage. I've seen a couple movies where things have had a dense flesh and excellent storage qualities. One Fuji apple can give you as much as 15% of your daily requirement of vitamin C.
Oh, nice.
So,
Fuji's one of the best eaten apples. Like if you're going to go to the store and get an apple that you're going to eat, you get a Fuji.
really?
Because like Granny Smith and all those are pie apples. They're for, but a Fuji, it's nice and sweet and crisp. It's not mealy.
So of course, shout out to Original Sin. So we will have this week and next week, and of course,
Oh, it's
we're
gluten free. That's the most
Oh,
important part.
Ew.
yeah. So here you go, Matt. And of course, it's starting to wear down. We still
Gluten
have
free. Happy Pride Month.
whiskey. So,
We
yes,
still
by the
have
way,
that?
happy
Uh-oh.
Pride Month to everybody out there.
Yeah.
By the way.
Happy Pride Month. If you're for gay 9/11.
I've been celebrating it all month.
Matt actually asked an interesting question of, with
Yeah.
everything, it's like, what's the plus on the end of that? It's like LGBTQ plus.
It's whatever else. Whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. What
It means pedophile.
it means whatever you want to be.
Yeah. If you're fucking your mother, you get the
Yes.
plus.
Yeah, you're
It's the
covered.
incest people.
Yeah.
I feel like the LGBTQ should just be like selling insurance and shit. Like, you want to fuck your mom? You're covered. You
Yeah,
wanna-
we got
you're covered.
Ugh.
You know?
God, that's so bad.
Shot without.
No, don't you can't say it's banned. You can say it on air.
Oh, you know how often I said that about that fucking gin we had. Oh, God.
I don't like gin. It's like
Oh.
sucking on a Christmas tree.
So what we're going to do is, since our guest is missing in action, we're going to get into our game segment, but with Tommy Sinbazo. So Tommy Sinbazo, as we know, he performed relatively well in the Happy Hour Pod Rumble. So Tommy knows what this is all about. He knows what we're about to do. We're going to get into Incoherent. So let me get the folder pulled up with the Incoherent cards, and we will rock and roll. And Tommy will probably guess.
Did I tell you the day of that we were all tripping on because we went and saw a movie that day?
Yeah.
So we got back to my house and just kept doing mushrooms. So we
Oh,
were
I
all
can tell you guys were
It
balls
makes
to
sense.
the
I
wall.
ripping our
didn't know
balls
what
off.
you were-
Something.
I didn't know what you guys were on, but I know your
Yes. Yes.
drug of
And then-
choice
and
is mushrooms.
yeah,
So I was like, they're on
yeah,
something.
and then you guys like disappeared.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like you were there and then you were just gone. And I was like, oh man, I
Yeah,
was like,
all
they
three
like
of
went
you.
through like a
Yeah.
Stargate, like just poof, like they just dusted. Like Thanos just snapped and they dusted, and that's what it was.
Now,
But-
Tommy, real quick,
yeah.
before you get into the games, when you do your VR, you ever got on mushrooms and went into the VR space?
I've done it. We were doing mushrooms and we played miniature golf. We played the mini golf app, and like I kept asking the guys, I was like, "Hey, is the ground like moving? This is a very difficult course." And they're like, "The ground's not moving. Like everything is holding still." I'm like,
and Tommy's just like, well, shit.
Right. I mean, it's no secret that everyone knows. I'm a big pothead, and I love
No.
smoking.
Really?
Mhm.
I
You
never.
know- come on.
Matt, all the years I've known you for over 10 years, I never known you to smoke pot.
Yeah, you're
Not
a
even at
liar.
my bachelor party or
You're-
anything.
Oh,
Like, I- like-
We are all passing it around. Where do you think it came from? Anyway, so I like to get fucking high and play on the VR headset.
Mhm.
I was just wondering if it's any different on as far as being on mushrooms, because I've never done mushrooms, and I've done acid, but I'm not really big.
pretty much what Matt is asking is incest porn different?
yeah. No, I've done DMT, and I was at I just stopped in to Failed to Render, one of their shows. I wasn't on the show, and I smoked a bunch of DMT, and it made it look like it went from 16-bit down to 8-bit. Like everything looked like Mario, and I was like, "Is my headset fucking up?" And I had to
Oh my
like
god!
I reset my headset and went back in. I was like, "No, okay, I'm just on DMT."
I don't know if Tommy's ever been there, but we need to get on with Tommy one night and have your cousin take him while he's tripping balls to that one
Oh
place
shit!
where we
dude.
were flying around and there was fucking just rainbow lights going everywhere.
dude.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and I look over. I just happen to look over and I just see Matt's character laying on the ground because he was really laying on the
Dude,
ground
I,
from tripping fucking balls. And like I'm like, what the fuck happened
What
to
I
him?
what
Like,
I did, I got this new stuff, this Black Diamond Kush, right? And I've been smoking the shit out of it. But I also ate half a fucking edible.
Mm.
Got on there, and edibles they don't kick in right away, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I was just chilling, having a good time. The next thing I know, it all hit me at once, and I'm just like, "Oh god!" We're flying. One thing we're flying around as like butterflies. And
yeah, we have
shit.
like butterfly wings on shit, and there's like all these rainbow lights going. Like it looks like you're in like
Yeah.
the gay disco. Like you're just like it's going around everywhere, and you're just kind of like, what is happening right now? Like I'm like, what is happening? So I can only imagine
Right,
what's,
so I
what's
was so
happening to his.
overwhelmed. I just kind of just like passed out on the ground, like, "Oh god!"
Well, so my plan tomorrow, if you look over this shoulder, right, you see the TV here, and you see this camera that's right here, right?
Yeah.
Well, behind it are lights. There's a light bar on each side. The camera reads what's on the screen, and then it'll put out lights on, so that like if something red is near the edge of the screen, it will throw red lights out on the side and everything.
Okay.
And then I have a Aurora Borealis that like machine that I can turn on to turn, so you have like the northern lights.
Really
And then
cool.
I have a torch light bulb and a lamp over here, so it throws like this fire effect over everything. And my plan was, I fucked up and I told Lou because I had wanted to. I bought 10 hits of acid from some guy on Facebook, and it's just been sitting in my fridge.
Wait.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's rewind.
I buy a lot of drugs
Facebook
off Facebook.
Marketplace.
No. I'm part.
Was it Facebook Marketplace or was it just a guy you knew on Facebook?
No, there's a Facebook group. I'm in like 3 Facebook groups where people will be like, "Hey, I have mushrooms. Does anyone want to buy them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll buy And I'll message him.
It's like some weird shit that's not mushrooms. And Tommy's just like, I'm willing to take the risk.
I mean, I've been burned twice, but I haven't been burned 5 times.
So it kind of outweighs it.
I'm 3 ahead so far. But so my plan was to wake up early tomorrow and do like maybe 2 hits of acid and then not tell Lou. And then I wanted to watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness again down
That's
here.
what Disney Plus by us.
Watching that tonight.
And then on Shudder, there's a movie called Mad God, and it's a stop motion animation film from this. I think his name's something Tippin. Whoever the guy that did all the stop motion animation for Star Wars, and then they brought him in to do the stop motion animation for Jurassic Park, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, we can do this on a computer." So they didn't use him, and then they used him again. Anyway, it's this world-renowned stop motion animator. He spent the last 20 years making this horror movie called Mad God, and it's on Shudder, and I want to watch that down here. And then but I fucked up and I was like, hey, Lou, do you want to know my secret plan for tomorrow? And I told her, and she was like, we're supposed to go to sing karaoke at 8 p.m. And I was like, then I'll just be there on acid. That's so I'll perform on acid.
You're just kind of like, yeah, we'll go sing karaoke, but it ain't going to be karaoke that I'm singing. Tommy's just up there like,
just screaming.
Everybody's just like, who brought that homeless guy in here? Like, what's wrong with him?
It's fine. I'll slap a cowboy hat on it and they'll be like, it's probably heroin.
Yeah, I ever tell you the story on how I thought I thought Jess's uncle was gonna be murdered by some like big like dude Jack like Brock Lesnar in Mexico, because the dude was wearing a cowboy hat, and me and her uncle were probably about like 30 mixed drinks deep at the pool, and we're playing volleyball, and her uncle just grabs this dude's cowboy hat and he's like, this is mine now, bitch. And he just puts it on his head or whatever. And I just see this guy look at Jess's uncle and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me by this big ass motherfucker in Mexico and end up in a Mexican prison. And the dude ended up being the nicest dude in the world. He did it at our resort. They did this like, what was it? What is it? The wedding, the show, the newlywed game. They did a newlywed game type thing. And what they made them do is they made him and his really teeny tiny stick girlfriend change clothes. So this dude with his fucking gigantic Volvo sized legs squeezed in her extra small fucking workout pants and her like little top or whatever. And we were just kind of like, I was like, this dude's my fucking hero now. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get into the games real quick. So Tommy, you know how this shit works. We're going to go ahead and get into the first Ode to Humanity game, which is Incoherent. And this is the first card right here. So once this stuff goes away up the top, I will go ahead and make it full screen. What do you think that says, Tommy?
Let's see. Lubricant. Lubricant. They say that if you read it in a British accent, like lubricant, lubricant.
Yes, it is lubricant, and the hints were slippery and a substance that makes hard things go smoothly. So some of these are the
you're gonna need that for your 3D
so
printer.
yeah, so I feel like Tommy is gonna go 3 for 3 in this because Tommy is a boss in this anyway. And actually, shout out to Tom Nutty. Tom Nutty's actually really good at this as well. And he, of course, he said he was going to be here tonight, but then he was like, oh, I forgot my kids have baseball. And I'm like, no, he really went to like a senior center and he's playing baseball with geriatrics.
Yeah, he found out he's adopted and his wife's his mom.
So, all right. So here's the next one right here. So let me get that up here. And then we will boom right here. What do you think that is, Mr. Sinbazo?
Inflatable sex doll.
And see, that's the thing. And I knew Tommy is good at this because Tommy was
I'm
the one
sitting there trying to sound it out to in my head.
Tommy was the one that sat there that when we did the HHPod Rumble, we had throw a hot dog in a hallway. And I was like, nobody is ever going to guess this. And Tommy Sinbazo, now knowing that he was whacked out of his mind,
tripping my balls off, and I'm like,
Yeah. And
Oh, hot dog down the hallway.
yeah. And Tommy did it. And then you just hear Eric go, don't underestimate his autism.
So
Yeah.
blow partner, and I don't understand this other
A
hint.
blow up partner and a step up from Jill.
I'm not sure about the hints.
Yeah, I don't know
don't know
about
who
the one
Jill
hint a
is.
step up from Jill. Like,
Maybe.
I don't,
Poor Jill.
yeah.
Mm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
like Jack and Jill, so it's a step up from jerking off.
Yeah, Jack and Jill.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good guess. But
I don't know. I'm not a pervert. It's
Yeah.
like first thing I googled when I got this 3D printer was hot foot. How can I 3D print a sexy foot?
All right, so here's the last one right here. So let's go ahead and let this one rip and let Mr. Sinbazo and his amazing autistic abilities guess this within like 3 seconds.
Past its own eight. Past Hutch own 8. Past its own 8. Passionate? No. Past Hutch own 8. Past its own 8.
I normally do.
Passionate. Passagionate. Passagionate.
Yeah. You want to
Pass-
Joy, mate.
All right, I'll take a hint.
split the pot.
Split the pot. Past Hutch own 8. Passagionate. 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 Well, give me the last hint.
It's the communal sharing of a marijuana cigarette.
Pass the joint.
Yes,
go.
yes, pass the joint. And then Tommy, of course, we do
Pass
Cards
that
Against
joint.
Humanity roulette. So
Mm.
Tommy, what
first
we're going to do is we're going to give you 6 choices for the 2 cards that we read off, and then you're going to actually answer the blank yourself afterward. So the first one, Matt, you want to
Oh,
read the
shit.
first one?
I don't even. I'm just sitting here looking
You're
at.
just sitting there looking at the
Hold
card
on.
like, what's
I
happening?
didn't smoke before I came here or anything. But anyway, okay. So black card says science will never explain blank.
And you have your choices 1 through 6. Is that 6? Right? Yeah, that's 6.
That's 6.
All right, 1 through 6.
4.
4. All right. So
Okay, science will never explain licking things to claim them as your own.
are you satisfied with that, or do you
No.
want another one?
No, I want another. Let's do. I feel it. The good one's in the back half. I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna go for 5.
It is. This is the one I was actually laughing about when I set the cards out. I was like, that's pretty funny. Okay, science will never explain the black half of Barack Obama.
There you go. That's
And Tommy, if you could answer this yourself, which we've stumped so many of our guests out, it's like, just answer it yourself. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, it's like an ad lib. And they're like, what's an ad lib? And then I pull out
I'd
a
be
shotgun, I put it in
amazed
my
if
mouth,
you
and I Kurt Cobain myself live on air. So, and I mean, Tommy, because your game, you have to ad lib when you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
Law
yeah.
Finder with,
yeah. Let's see. Science will never explain the fuck you nature of elephants.
Fair enough.
Bad. Yeah.
All right. So the second one is white people like blank.
Okay.
So 1 through 6.
2.
2. All right. White people like the express written consent of the National Basketball Association.
No.
All right. So 2.
You know what? I'm gonna go 5 again. I'm gonna go 5.
5 again. All right. So 5. White people like a sticky tree hole full of pancake sauce.
Yeah.
Classic white people.
Yeah. Now, if you could answer that yourself, Tommy, what would you answer that as?
White people like black things, but not black people.
This actually, one of the cards actually coincides with that. It says white people do not like,
No, white people
like police brutality. I was like, oh, if he picks that one.
We need to sit down. I have a bunch. I bought so many decks of these. Yeah, we need to get like one time with Tommy. And of course, shout out to Vagabond Sandwich Company. We were there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Fully Fermented is now also going to become our local spotlight. So we're going to go out to local places, local events, and feature them on our Fully Fermented show, kind of like how we used to do on our
Back in the
TV
day.
show. So shout out to Ben over at Vagabond Sandwich Company. But what we need to do is with one of those, I think we're going to try to do Hysteria Brewing Company
Oh, I like
coming up again soon. Maybe we can have Tommy or someone come out. I have a bunch of blank Cards Against Humanity cards that we need to record and write out ourselves
Okay.
on future
down for that.
episodes, because I feel
Yeah.
like that would be completely amazing. So, and of course, Tommy, thank you for taking part in our the humanity segment. So I guess Nate is very busy being
He's busy
nasty
foot
to-
fucking some lovely woman.
He's
Yes,
too busy.
yes.
You know, yeah, toe deep in some woman's
Yes.
asshole.
So
you
what
know?
I'm going to do is I'm going to get into another one of our news article reads, which man dies of heart attack while burying his girlfriend in his backyard. Now, South Carolina man suffered a heart attack and died while he was trying to bury the body of his girlfriend in his backyard. That's like, could you imagine all the work that you do to kill your significant other?
Mm.
And
Only
then
to
you
die from a heart-
only
you know,
to
shit.
die before you can do it. Like imagine like the police show up and you're dead, and they're just kind of like, what, like who, what happened here? And it said,
This is partially
yeah.
buried in a fresh duck pit.
Yes.
So he tried. He really fucking tried.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it
just-
says the Edgefield County Sheriff said they received a report of an unresponsive man and dispatched deputies to the home of 60-year-old Joseph McKinnon. When they arrived, they found McKinnon's body in the backyard. There were no signs of trauma on his body, and the deputies suspected that he died of natural causes. As officers continued to investigate his death, they found the body of Patricia Ruth Dent, 65, partially buried in a freshly dug pit.
That's insane.
The autopsy reports on the bodies determined that McKinnon died from a heart attack while Dent was strangled to death. So I wonder if the adrenaline from him strangling his girlfriend took a toll on his
Yes.
heart.
Yeah.
Like,
We know he's probably had like a raging hard on at that point.
yeah, like it's almost like the kind of thing like when this dude gets tired of fucking his mom. Like, okay, I've had enough of this. So he strangles his mom to death and then has a heart attack and died. Like you remember the movie, what was it, Crank? Like and his heart was like going crazy and he was
Uh-huh.
banging the chick in the middle of the street. So his fucking adrenaline could keep on going. His heart was just da, 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 da. And it said, it said investigators said that McKinnon attacked Dent inside his home and then wrapped her body in trash bags. He then dragged her body outside and started to dig a pit in his backyard. While he was covering Dent's body, he suffered a heart attack and died. Authorities did not say what caused McKinnon to attack Dent. Dent's family was shocked to learn that she had been killed. I'm shocked. I didn't even see that coming. Dent's twin sister. Oh, whoa.
There's okay,
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Dent's
Okay.
I'm shocked. And I didn't see any of that coming because here's the thing. Pamela Briggs is not Pamela Briggs. It is the woman that got murdered. She knew that he was going to kill her. So she sent her sister there and he had the raging hard-on strangle fest on her twin sister.
Jesus Christ. And this guy, they were 65.
Yeah.
Wait, why kill someone at 65?
Well,
I don't
he
know.
was
well,
60.
well, here's the
How long were they together though?
here's
Like,
the
was it-
moral of the story, gentlemen. If you're going to kill, strangle, fuck your significant other,
Mhm.
do it when you are young and in shape.
Yeah. Or pay the neighborhood kid to do it. Like I got a kid
Yeah.
that does my lawn for $35.
Yeah, like I mean that's the thing.
Hey, the kid mows my lawn for $5. I'll just give him a fucking choke fuck my wife.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like it's funny because
While I
Jess-
watch him masturbate in the corner.
Jess watches a lot of investigation discovery. So I'm convinced that if she wants to off me, they will never find out that it was her. But she watches this one show called Deadly Neighbors. And it's
Yes.
always like
Nope,
these
that's
terrible
right.
neighbors that end up killing the other neighbor or some shit.
Mhm.
And there's this guy that she follows on
Well,
TikTok.
dude, hold on. I don't mean it, but when you watch those shows, it's either the significant other or the fucking neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's always Wilson from Beneath the Fence from Home Improvement that fucking killed the neighbor. Like it was totally that guy. He's just peering over. He's like, oh yeah, kind of like
Yeah, fuck that guy.
if you watch the show Us, when the fucking guy in season 3 was looking over at the hot blonde or whatever, and he's
There we
just kinda
go.
like, yeah,
I just
like,
found out a new porn parody
no, wait, no,
with
I'm
the
sorry,
glory
not
hole.
Us, You, the show You. If you've ever seen the show You, which is amazing from start to end, but no, like, dude,
Wilson
like,
in the glory hole. I mean, I think that'd be excellent. An excellent porn parody.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing.
He's
Wasn't
gay as fuck, but hey, it's Pride Month.
wasn't Pam Anderson at one time the tool girl in Home Improvement?
Yeah.
So you could have someone that looks like Pam Anderson blowing Wilson through the fence glory hole out back while Tim the Tool Man gives her his tool.
I mean, I'd pay to see that.
Like
I'm
Al-
all about nostalgia.
they
at
need
this
to
point.
wait
I'm getting
for-
Well,
old.
they have a new show. Did you know that Tim Allen and the guy that played Al,
Really?
his sidekick on the show, they now have a home improvement show.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
a
it's
real
like it's
Home
either
Improvement
like a
show?
real home. I think it's on Hulu
Oh,
but I think they go in and they do like a home improvement project or whatever. On
He
people's
just said
Yes.
Hulu. Like we're
Yeah.
gonna believe you now, Tommy. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, yeah, it's right. Comes on right after my special.
well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like, and I was going to bring up Al, is that I feel like in the porn parody, Al needs to be the main event. Like, he needs to be the one like banging like 6 bitches at once.
Yeah, it needs to be Tim like premature ejaculating or not
Yeah,
being able to
yeah,
get his
yeah.
dick hard,
Yeah, and Al,
putting it in the wrong hole.
because I mean that's the thing. It's like I would fuck Al. Like it's private. Like
Yeah.
I would let Al just rain down upon me.
Let it out.
Like, yeah.
let it out.
And
Let it
also, Am I the only one that feels like the OxyClean guy kind of looks like Al a little bit, like a very like dark haired
Okay.
Al
Mhm.
Borland?
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, he's gonna OxyClean that dick into her ass.
Please don't tell me you go to the bathroom and masturbate with OxyClean.
I might. Like, well, no, not really. Like,
Get
not
your
the OxyClean, but they had that detergent, the OxyClean detergent that's out. Like,
Okay,
that's a little bit more like it's a little bit more slip and slide with that. And
So you drink a gallon of that and you choke fuck your wife and then bury her
Yes.
in a dead body.
yes. But when you choke fuck, is it like I was sitting there and I was watching?
Well, there's nothing wrong with choke fucking.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's the
gotta
plus.
know
yeah.
when enough is too much.
And of course, Nate Nasty isn't here, but when I was watching his videos, and like he does a lot of choke fucking, but with his hog. And I was sitting there thinking, everybody sees the dildo machine, like that dildo that's on the end of a
What the piston thing? Like,
yeah. I was like, I wonder if a chick's ever taken that to the throat. Like if they've ever opened their mouth and just let someone just sawzall their throat, just like what?
Oh yeah,
no, it's for the same reason that women don't suck vibrators. They get nothing out of it.
right. Because
like,
I mean, look, you got to think about it. It's
that's
not
the
just
way
their
I would
throat.
kill my wife.
They're
Like,
going to shatter their teeth doing that.
Yeah.
You just take them out back and you're like, all right, time to die, bitch.
Now that's some hardcore porn shit. That's from a different genre right there.
What if it's like someone that doesn't have teeth? Like what if all their teeth have fallen? Like it's it's a meth junkie like down in the city. So
Or they can just take them out.
yeah. They
I'm
can
going
just
to
take
tell
the
you
teeth
that's
out.
probably the best blowjob you'll ever have in your life. I'm just
Do you know from experience?
Well, I'm not saying, but when you got somebody coming, the boys downstairs, I mean,
I had a girl suck my dick and she had two. Her tongue was pierced in 2 spots, so she had like 2. And that felt cool. That
Yeah.
was cool,
I think I said this before. I had a girl who had her tongue pierced and she stuck like the ball of the
In your pee
piercing
hole.
in my pee hole. And I didn't know how to feel. Like I was like, I don't know if this feels good or if I don't know if this sucks. Like I was just kind of like frozen in spot. And like she just kind of looked at me and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you to do right now. Like but also
Have you ever watched? Do you watch The Boys?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that's one of our favorite shows.
Watching
Like
it-
I'm watching
it's
that as
tonight.
soon as we're
Yeah,
done.
tonight's Herogasm. Herogasm comes out
Is
tonight.
it? I heard about that. Oh, dude,
it's in the comics.
that first episode when they started that first episode of season 3,
We jumped
Yeah.
and a fucking
That's what it
termite guy
was like.
ran into the guy's
That's what it
I
felt like when
and
she
he's just
stuck her
wiping
piercing.
his hand. No, my real fear was that the ball was going to come off of the piercing, and I would just have a BB stuck in the hole of my penis. And I would be like, "Oh God!" Like, imagine me going in there with
to
put
the
like
hospital.
a pair of like,
Yeah, you have to go to patient first.
Go to patient first, and they're just like, just pee it out. Just pee it out.
No,
They just take a. They go to the
I
kitchen and get a magnet off the fridge and just tink. There you go. It's done.
Or when
I call in a professional just to come out with a fucking
That'll be $80.
or she
$80.
dies.
I'm here all day.
Or she dies via when I come, it flies out and just shoots through her throat
Oh my
like
God.
a bee.
Or she gets stuck. It doesn't come off, but he's like, I can't get out. And then you have to go to patient first where they're like, pull you out.
You ever seen Sex Send Me to the VR or to the ER? I'm sure
that is such a great show.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of cases like that
Yeah.
where guys get their dicks broken and their shit looks like this.
Oh, remember Jocelyn Jane told us that she
Yeah.
heard about the dude who broke his dick or whatever?
No,
Like,
she broke his
did
dick.
she break
is what
it?
she
Okay,
said. I'm
okay,
pretty
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine that. Like, just imagine, like, like at that point,
I can.
like you're kind of like, I would imagine that when your dick breaks, like you're trying to fuck the chick's like skeleton through her head. Like you're fucking them so hard that her whole skeleton just shoots out of the top of her skull.
I like in all of these sex scenarios, you have superhuman abilities that you can come a BB through the back of someone's head like you're Superman. I'm fucking skeletons out of bitches.
You brought up the boys, so now my mind is stuck with how Homelander would do this.
We just found
I took some V24 and I accidentally fucked this bitch's skeleton out of her.
What do you think I watch all day long? Oh my God.
superhero porn is his thing.
Yeah.
Now know what your superpower is going to be.
Oh no. But
But
honestly,
speaking of superhero porn, have we ever talked about the Avengers porn parody? There in 2012, there was the Avengers porn parody, and China played She-Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they painted her green, but did nothing to keep that paint on her.
Yeah,
So by
and-
the end of the scene, the guy had green paint all over. There's green paint everywhere. China wasn't green at all. She was the only thing that wasn't green anymore.
Yeah.
Cheap production company. Was
Oh
like,
my
yeah,
God. But
this
you
would
know
be a
what? It
great
made
idea.
sense though, because China had the size for She-Hulk. But my favorite was when China did the Queen of the Ring and they had these knockoff guys who looked like the cheap WWE guys, and they were gang banging China, and like you had this like knockoff Triple H, just knockoff Iron Sheik, and like
I didn't see that, but now I'm going to look
you
it up.
need to watch it up.
Yeah.
Look up China Queen of the Ring, and I was so hoping that at some point the guy like the Iron Sheik would put her in the camel clutch and would camel clutch fuck her, and it didn't happen.
It's on
they had
Spank
like a
Bang.
Vince McMahon guy, I think. What was it? I think it was Lisa Ann or somebody, and it was Stephanie McMahon. And I was like, man, like they're going all fucking out, with all this shit anyways. Like, and I mean,
Well, Ray, I think that's your calling now.
yeah.
You had the wrestling background. Now you must make wrestling moves into sexual positions.
Well, there's already one that technically is, and that's the Tombstone Pile Driver, which is the standing 69. You could easily, like, if she grinds or bites too hard, just Tombstone Pile Driver straight down, and that's it.
Guys, keep it down. I'm trying to watch Queen of the Ring. They have a knockoff of Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon.
Yes. Well, I thought originally when the movie started, there was this rumor way back in the day that Vince wanted to do this gimmick where Stephanie McMahon ended up pregnant and he ended up being the father. And
Okay.
Stephanie was like,
See, now it's
I'm
weird.
not doing that.
Now
and I was
it's-
like,
now it's
are they going to run that gimmick in
Now-
this movie? Because I was sitting there like I had the Lubriderm ready to go. And I was like, let's do it. If they're running this storyline, let's do it. I'm here for it.
Could you imagine pitching that to your daughter and they're just all like, no, Dad, you've lost your fucking mind.
Oh, it's going to be great. You're going to love it.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna kiss on scene.
This thing is
screen.
is an hour and 42 minutes long.
It's a whole movie,
That's a
but
lot of fucking.
at least like 42 minutes of it is the Royal Rumble scene. They have a Royal Rumble, and all these guys, she's in the ring, and all these guys, like fast forward a little bit, all these guys just keep on coming in and just having their way with her.
Is it a squash fucking Royal
yes,
Rumble?
it is. It's a squash match. God rest China's soul.
Well, they
But-
do have this. It does have above the time bar running at the bottom of the screen. It has little icons of sex positions. And if you click on that sex position, it jumps to when she's in that position with someone.
That was almost like the early
pretty
you
awesome.
remember way back in the day they had these DVDs and it was virtual sex, and it was like virtual sex with Sylvia Saint or virtual sex with Jesse Jane, and you could click on it and they would go to that position, and I was like, oh yeah, this is great, like yeah, and like it was funny
There's a Doink the Clown.
no, I forgot there was a Doink the Clown.
Of course, yeah, I was
Yes.
thinking, of course,
Yes.
It's so bad. It's just a guy in a clown luchador mask.
Yeah. Which I've actually at an indie show, I've wrestled an indie show with a Doink the Clown that looked like that. And I was like, yeah, dude, you're not doing yourselves any favor. They know that's not Matt Bourne under that mask. Like, you are not the real Doink, my friend. And
Oh, and it's got Ron Jeremy.
yeah.
If they should have glued rubber bands to his face so he was Captain Lou Albano.
Albano, yeah.
who does Ron Jeremy play? The Iron
I think
Sheik?
he plays Captain Lou Albano.
Does he?
There's no rubber bands. I'm not buying.
And then what's his name? The one dude plays Triple H. What the hell?
The fucking Hulk Hogan. It's a guy in a white wig and with a white fake handlebar mustache.
This whole fucking stream is just turned to a reaction.
Yes. Well, this is almost like when we had Josh Lewis watch. What was it?
I haven't even watched this yet, so now I got to go home and watch this whole fucking thing.
Brand new cherry flavor. Have you seen that, Tommy? Brand new cherry flavor.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like we had one of the younger male adult film stars. We were like, because everybody had reaction videos on TikTok from the fisting the rib cage scene.
Yeah,
and we were like, what the fuck? And so why I'm like skipping that scene, I see this chick birthing this cat, and I'm like, I need to see how this happens. And then this weird dude with a motorcycle helmet walks in and grabs the cat, and she's like, yeah, that's like the last one I'm gonna do or whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute. And my wife's mortified because I was like, now I need to start from square one because I need to know how we got to this.
No, really, I've tried, but
they don't really explain it. They're just
like, you're right, and like I've tried, and I'm okay with watching like shit that's kind of like unconventional, I guess, or if you want to call it that. But that shit was all. I was like, nah, I can't watch this. This is just too much.
It was
all
a
over
bit
the place.
much.
It just makes no sense.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, anyways, what we're gonna do is, of course, we're running a little bit close on time. We're gonna let Tommy get out of here kind of soon. We apologize for the fact that our guests did not show up. That happens sometimes, but I think you just roll with the punches.
Maybe
that's what happens when you do
busy.
live stuff. So. What I'm going to actually try to do is me and Tommy have been talking a little bit for his Laugh-Finder show. I'm going to try to reach out to some of our former guests to get them on game night. Natasha Nice said she'd be interested in doing it. I actually talked to Erica Icon from the Rub PR, and apparently Natasha Nice is AWOL right now, so she can't get a hold of her. So I don't know what's going on with that. And I was like,
she's gonna come back and be like, I went to a friend's funeral in India, and these elephants came, and they stomped on the casket, and then they destroyed my hotel room.
And then they fucked me.
I read this article about this woman who fucked her son, and now I can't control myself.
Yeah, I found my long lost son, and I fucked him.
She has scenes like that, so she's actually done that. So
well, it's not real, though.
It was real to me, damn it!
I was like, how much was I gonna tell you? That's not really their son.
It was real to me.
Yeah, those women took that bump.
Oh my God. But anyways, make sure you find Tommy Sinbazo, find the guys over at the Laugh Finder podcast. And we'll be back here right here on YouTube Live next week. Our featured guest is Sin Sage, adult film star. She will be joining us live right here on the program. So what we're going to do, of course, for Tommy Sinbazo, I'm Ray. This is Matt. This has been the Happy Hour podcast, and we will see you guys next week right here on YouTube Live. All right, so that's pretty much it for that. So hold on, let me